Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In today's video, I am going to be replacing a laundry faucet. Now, this type of faucet is a brass faucet. It is, I think it's meant to be hard pipe. It does have a bracket that goes with it, but I am a fan of this style of faucet because it's simple, it's solid, it's cost effective. The only thing is it's a little more technical to be able to install because, I mean, really, in my opinion, it needs to be hard piped with copper. Even though it does have a bracket, I'm still an advocate for copper over PEX in this type of situation. So what we'll do now is we will look at our faucet and our setup. Alright, so this is our laundry faucet that needs to be replaced. You can see that it drips endlessly. So there is two shutoffs here. I have already tested them and they do not work. We've got two shutoffs over there for the machine. So my idea here is I'm going to use my two washer hoses, put the washer hoses into a bucket, open those, close these up here, and I'm hoping that'll keep water out of these because it'll drain that way and I'll be able to solder. I'm going to reuse this plate. I'll drill a hole back here and then I will install the new faucet to the plate, and that should be an adequate support for this. I think that is the simplest solution on this job. So what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright, this is our materials list. So I have a laundry faucet here. This is a Waltec by Delta. 1/2-inch copper, couplings, 45s, some 90s, flux, and then solder. Guys, this is what I believe I need to do this job. So what we'll do now is the tools list. Alright, this is our tools list. So I have my B-tank, my acetylene torch, my finishing kits that has tube cutters, file, a whole bunch of other stuff, my brushes. I have my cordless kit, my grinder. I have a spray bottle for water since we'll be playing with fire. Earplugs. I should have safety glasses, but I forgot them, but I will have them for the job. I have a drill bit set, 5-gallon bucket, 2 washer hoses, and then my pouch for hand tools. Guys, this is what I believe I need for tools for this job, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shut these valves off. We'll take the 2 hoses off, we'll put the washer hoses and then put them into the 5-gallon bucket. And then I'll open the valves after, and that'll give the water a place to go. Alright, so I'm going to use a grinder to cut out the laundry faucet. You can see how the water has now stopped dripping. And now we'll undo the screws. Okay, so this is our new laundry faucet. We have a mounting hole here. So for height, you don't want to be down here where you can't close the valves. So I'm looking at the space here and then how much there is here. So I'm going to say about that height. Should work out well. Guys, keep one thing in mind, that you want to be able to get your fingers between the handle and the sink. But that looks fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole here, and then I'm also going to take the grinder and cut this top off. So this here, because it's razor sharp, it'll have to be beveled. And now we'll do the feel test. Be careful because It's more than likely hot. That feels okay. Okay, so we have our screw, we have our square nut. And then we'll use the channel locks on the square nut in the back and then tighten the thing in place. So this is the time to level out the faucet before you start piping. So just put a level across. So that is level. And one other thing you can do is look at the edge of the sink and then this line here and make sure the two are the same. If anything, this spacing here is what you should go off of because that'll be the most noticeable. So that looks alright. Tighten that down. And now we're going to address the pipe. Alright, so first thing is open both the hot and the cold all the way. So you can see how these centers are different. The old faucet was closer and then the new faucet is wider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it back and then I'm going to see about offsetting it using a couple 45s. Alright, for the hot it looks like it's going to hit bang on. Something like that. So I'm just going to sand the copper pipe when it's all still together. Okay, so I'm going to want to push this all the way back. So it looks like it'll be somewhere around here. I need a 3-inch piece. Alright, so I started this one joint here and then I strapped this back to the wall to keep this side straighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where I need to cut the cold side over here. So what I'm essentially going to do is just twist the 90, put the 45 onto the 90, and then look at the very top. Like here, you see how crooked it is? So I'm going to look at it, straighten the two out, and then make the mark at the back of the hub. Alright, so you can see the paint. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to take a knife and then scratch this off. This has to all get cleaned up to this level here, otherwise the solder won't stick. Alright, so we have our 45. If we just eye this out, they look relatively close. So we'll level the 45. And then we're going to take our measurement from here to here. So just line the two up. It's also 3 inches. Okay, so I realized the fitting allowance is going to work. So I use a screwdriver to push this back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the 45 where the two are going to line up, and then I'll take my measurement. Alright, and now we'll line the two up and take our measurement. 1 5/8. Okay, so with everything good to go, I should slide in. Okay, I think that's good. Alright, now we can solder everything. Alright, with that all done now, we'll take a mirror and check all the way around. Alright, so that looks good. So what I'm going to do is grab some wet paper towel and wipe it down. Alright, so we're going to turn the water back on. Alright, we can hear the flow of water has stopped. Guys, like everything else, always make sure that you turn the water back on slowly, but everything looks okay. So I'm going to do a wipe down of everything and clean up. Alright, so this is our finished product. I mean, it's nice and shiny, it looks good. So guys, for these two valves here, open a crack until you hear water flowing. Fill up this end of the system slowly. Once the water isn't flowing anymore, you don't hear anything, then you can go ahead and then open those two valves the rest of the way. Guys, you always have to slowly fill up your system because you can develop pinhole leaks. Remember, this copper is old. Otherwise, it looks good. It's nice and centered. This end is slightly low. I mean, nobody will notice it but me. The reason for it is because I had to work off of this other stuff here and tried to straighten everything out. But I'm relatively happy with it. It looks good, nothing's leaking. So now I'm just going to reconnect the dishwasher and then we'll do an overview of this job. Alright guys, so that concludes this project. So in this case, with the bracket, I believe copper is a much better material to use because it's going to help keep everything solid together. I think the bracket with the one screw over time is going to tend to want to loosen up a little bit as you use the faucet. So like I said, in this case, I believe copper is a better material to use. It'll match everything else anyway. So I mean, I'm very happy with it. It's a nice shiny faucet. It works well with the room, and I'm happy I didn't run into any problems, any hiccups. The time on this job, the time was about an hour and a half. The one issue I had was the cold side that I had to change it on the fly, but I had fittings, so everything worked out fairly well. The cost of this job, the faucet, pipe, fittings, flux, solder, whatever else that I needed. The cost was about $90. I mean, this is a cheap, effective faucet. Like I said, I'm a fan of simple stuff that works well. You don't need to go over the top with something like this. Also, this is a rental unit, so you probably don't want to spend more money on something extravagant because for the most part, tenants don't really care all that much about stuff that they don't actually own. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, till next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.